Hello and welcome to the Footy Mailbag. My name is Damo and here with me is Clarky. How are you, my friend?
Yes, I am here. It is another day in the life of a supercoach. I don't feel super, Damo. I don't feel super.
Supercoach in January. You love it. You gotta love it. We've been playing around with our team picker teams. We can't keep our hands off them, but me and you have both just got to a point where we think the team we have is the team. But of course, there's still like 2 months until the season begins and a lot can change.
I like to have a solid baseline that can be ruined by a preseason.
There's nothing like match sim reports that make you slide in someone that you never even thought about until they mention their name.
Yeah, big shout out to Nerds for Life. They're putting out some really good posts on the old Facebook and TikTok. I've seen their stuff on. I'm sure it's elsewhere. But they've been putting out match sim notes, which have been contributed by members of the community as well. Nice comprehensive notes that just sort of give you the relevant options and what they're doing so you can keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Facebook and TikTok. He's also doing it on X as well. So pretty much wherever you consume your Supercoach news, Peter from Nerds for Life is doing a lot of work there.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
So, team picker team. Who is in your team picker team that you didn't think you would have picked? Like, they've just sort of fallen into place and they look good where they are.
I actually am slowly coming into believing for Sam Flanders. Mostly because I want to manifest it for him. He moved to St Kilda for a reason. He wanted more mid-time. He wanted to be a big prominent role. And Damo, we know how the podcast feels about St Kilda. This is a St Kilda hit piece podcast, if you will. But I think he's got the talent. He just needs the role. So I think whether or not he's in my final team will depend on some of the match sim stuff and how comfortable I am with rookies and all those fun little things. But I really think that there is a nice little niche for Flanders to really elevate the St Kilda midfield piece with Jack Steele moving on, with Nas sort of coming in there. I think hopefully Ross will be looking to just sort of put his best foot forward with, we've got these guys who are supremely talented. Let them run.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Sam Flanders, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners have Sam Flanders in the early versions of their team as well. I'm just worried that he's gone to St Kilda and Ross Lyon does the very Ross Lyon thing and plays him in that awkward half-forward role that is the reason that he basically left Gold Coast.
Yeah. It's actually a problem. There's actually quite a few people, I think, that have that potential trap around them as well. We spoke a little bit about Christian Petrarca last week. I would probably say as well, I'm semi-worried about guys like Tom McCarthy, who sort of had a bit of explosion, and he's got the big red flag of more midfield minutes, minutes in the preseason, which makes me think there's no more midfield minutes. Where are the midfield minutes coming from?
I was going to say Tom McCarthy is the guy in my team who he's there at the moment and looks good, but this guy's only been in AFL system for 6 months, and we're having to pay $500K for him. So it's kind of scary. You don't have that kind of leeway as you would if he was more in that breakout sort of price tag sort of area. If he was $50K cheaper, I think it would be a no-brainer to have a bit of a longer look at him. At $500K, he's there at the moment, and all the news looks good. All the footage coming out from Match Sims looks good, but it's $500K for a guy that's only been in the system for 6 months.
Yeah. I'm finding that there is a lot of really good players who are sat in such an awkward price niche this year. Like on paper, we look at guys like Raul for $640, and I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to pay that for Raul. Finn Callahan's $605, Max Holmes is $600, Errol Goulden's $566. But these guys, they add up really quickly to your overall budget. It's gotten to a point where with my current draft, I had to make a decision between Nas and Sherry. And that's a weird sort of dichotomy to go, Sherry, probably going to be a top 4 ruck this year, right? I think that's not an outlandish thing to say, but Nas could easily maintain 620. He could probably exploit himself to 650 if he continues the form that he had at the end of last year. But I also worry that might be too much. Like maybe he starts the year off a bit slower because there's a new game plan or anything like that. Once again, this comes back to our anti-St. Kilda bias, possibly. But it's really, is there anyone in your team that you're kind of really on the fence about or that you had to cut to sort of fit everyone in?
Every now and then, so I've got Jordan Dawson in my team at the moment, but when I'm playing around with it, the first person that leaves when I'm trying to free up cash somewhere is Jordan Dawson. And it's only because I don't know how that Adelaide midfield is going to look. They're clear. They're running Sid Draper through there. They're running Dan Curtin through there. What's the midfield minutes? What's the midfield share going to look like? Because they clearly wanted to upgrade it during the trade period. They had a look at George Stevens from Geelong. They had Christian Petrarca tour their facilities. They clearly wanted an extra mechanism in their midfield to push them forward. What that means for Jordan Dawson, whether he gets more responsibility or less responsibility to allow someone else to have a bit more of a piece of the pie, I'd like to be sure before I pick someone what their role's going to be, and Jordan Dawson is just the one that's got a little question mark over him for me at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's probably the least likely to be affected, I would think, by the midfield shuffle. I see the effect moving on to a few other guys who, when we get to the big ticket item of this podcast, I'll save that to you. Got to keep the engagement up there, Mary. So you listeners, got to keep listening. So, but I really love that like there is a guy who you're just ready to be like, yeah, I'll let that one go. I just got to let that one go. Bont was in one of my original drafts, and Bont's not made it there because I can't justify over 700k for a midfielder, but I can justify almost 700k for Max Gawn to fulfill my biases. I think I'd really be interested. And hey, this one's for the listeners. Who's someone that you're completely biased for? Who's someone that you will not move on? You will not budge on? Who's like your guy for this year? I don't care if they're a primo. I don't care if they're a rookie. Let us know. Tag us on Twitter. Let us know in the Facebook comments. I want to hear them. Maybe we'll pick some out and read them on the show.
I've got complete bias for two guys.
Yep, go on.
Jordan Clark and Errol Goulden. We spoke about both of them on last week's podcast.
I'm surprised that Hayden Young isn't higher on your list this year. Or do you think that the shine is kind of gone for him?
At 389k, I think he is ultimate value from what he can produce. I just don't know if he is season-long keeper at his price. He's going to have some higher games, some high ceiling games, but he's going to have some low floor games in there as well as they manage him through and try and get him through an entire season. So he starts at 389k, might average 105, 110, and be a guy that we hold on for the entire season. But I don't know if he's going to get into uber premium territory and is someone that you'll need to keep all season long. I love him and think that he's going to be a great selection at his price this year. It's just a matter of how much of a next step he takes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm quite bullish on Hayden Young, having some stocks invested in him in some keeper leagues. So he is someone who I will be keeping my eye on very, very much so through this preseason.
One of the good things about Hayden Young is he's a high points per minute player. In that game that he returned after his long layoff against Collingwood, he only played something like 32 minutes or 35 minutes or something like that, and went at 1.6 points per minute and finished on 55 points. So he's a guy who makes quick impact with the ball. So I think there's going to be games where he reaches a huge ceiling, and I'm going to make a big call here. Big calls in January. You got to love it.
January, my favorite.
Hayden Young could be a guy that cracks 200 in Supercoach this year.
Like just in one game?
In one game.
Okay. All right. I can see it. I can absolutely see that.
Anyway, Clarky, big ticket item for this podcast. You mentioned it a little bit before. You teased it a little bit before. We're going to go quickfire previews on all 18 teams. So we've divided them up. I've got 9, Clarky, you've got 9. And we're going to go through our locks, watch, and avoid for each team with a short summary for each player to explain why. We're going to try and not spend more than 2 or 3 minutes on each team, but some explanations might garner questions from the other person. So, Clarky, you've got Adelaide, meaning you will start. Lock, watch, and avoid for Adelaide. Go.
Go. Hey, Damo, might be surprising for you, but I've locked in Jordan Dawson. He's 6'11" as a mid. It's not fun. It's not spark worthy. It's not inspired. If you had a player from the Adelaide midfield that I think you can trust wholeheartedly, it's actually Jordan Dawson right now. I have concerns when I look at Rory Laird because I don't know what he's doing with his time anymore. I think it's really fun to see guys like Saligo getting some time. James Peatling didn't quite pan out as much as we had hoped as an addition to that midfield rotation. Rankin had a very good season that was marred by a slur. And then we saw the likes of, improved time for Rochelle's, for Dan Curtin's, and according to preseason training, it's for Sid Draper's, but the one man that they're not going to get rid of, and I think the one man that they want as the driving force, is Jordan Dawson. He's elite by foot. He is elite. He's the leader of the club. I don't think you have to think too hard about this one. He's a very nice price for some very nice scores. He's a captain option every week. He just ticks all the boxes, Damo.
I agree with you, but I still have question marks over who's around him and what the share looks like.
That's fine. I think in the moments they'll look to him, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the point. That's the nugget of the point that I'm trying to sort of make myself available to. Where I don't see a world where if things are going wrong or things aren't panning out, that Jordan Dawson isn't the one taking it by himself to sort of push the team forward. Now, as far as watching, who am I watching at the Adelaide Crows? It's Dan Curtin. 392 is a very awkward price, and he's mid-only this year. He really carved this perfect little niche for him in 2025. He was super reliable for like a few weeks at a time, and then sort of showed that there was just this massive variance in his ceiling to floor. If he is able to sort of lock himself into that really nice wing role and just deliver on some of that consistency, I think it's worth making some of the little eyes at him, Damo. It's just as someone to keep an eye on, even if he's someone that, you get him on the right run, bring him in, you make your 100K and you cash out. I believe that a pump and dump, is that what the crypto thing, you just go in, get out as soon as he hits his max value without thinking about it too hard.
I like it. I actually have considered him in my team as well. He's just awkward to fit in.
392 is really hard to find the cash for, but I really like Dan Curtin. I'm really excited for what he is able to produce. So my avoid for the Adelaide Crows, I've got one Isaac Rankin, 539, 400, forward available. I won't be selecting him for personal reasons, but I wanted to be fair and objective, and I know that he's someone that a lot of people will look at. Even though he's starting the season suspended, he's someone that I think people will still consider very early on in the piece. I don't like him for the same concerns that you have about Jordan Dawson. Where is he getting the midfield time from? Especially with preseason sort of reports saying Rochelle's going through the mid. They're saying Sid Draper's going through the mid. They're saying Curtin's going through the mid. And I think Rankin is much more value. Like, he is much more valuable in a forward role and having that sort of spark for scoring and maybe pushing through a half forward to forward role and less midfield time. And I think that's a lot easier to justify when you just sort of move the magnet back around to then fit someone else in, right? There's not really anyone that you replace his ability with because it's so unique and it's so explosive.
I should say just quickly, I know you only mentioned him in passing, but Sid Draper has been said that he will go through the midfield. He's currently on lighter duties due to a groin complaint, but he's said to be going through the midfield once he resumes full training. But yeah, 100%. I mean, Isaac Rankin starts the season suspended.
I know it's easy to avoid a guy who's suspended.
And then when he comes back, is he up forward? Is he in the midfield? Is he on a wing? What's his role? I don't think it's as clear cut as it was.
Yeah, I think last year as well, he had the benefit of sort of being, we knew that he was the guy. Like, you knew that Rankin was the guy. But this year, Adelaide are on the precipice of doing something that is just being a really good team. Once again, I say this wholeheartedly. I wish Adelaide fans well, and I don't wish you any misery. However, yeah, the handling of all that thing, I think, kind of covered up a lot of the good that was done on the field because the behavior was poor off the field, well, on the field and off the field. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to, but I wouldn't be starting Rankin at that price, given the other options available as well.
Yeah.
Damo, I believe that's onto you with Brisbane.
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 My lock is Josh Dunkley. He's not.
I like that.
He's not a flashy pick, but he hasn't averaged less than 110 since crossing to Brisbane. He racks up the tackle numbers. He's accountable. He's just reliable. He's not really a captaincy option every single week, but you can rely on him to pump out a score that's going to be good for your team in that 108 to 115 sort of range.
You know what I like the most about Josh Dunkley is that he's so understated in how he does his work, and I kind of really appreciate that. Like, he's just a workhorse, and I think that's so underrated for both a starting Supercoach side and B, just generally in football. Like, he's not, like you said, he's not a flashy player, but you kind of see him go, oh yeah, Josh Dunkley had a really good game. Like, you're not surprised, but you're like, I didn't see it. I didn't see him play. He
kind of crept up on you last season. Like, there are all these guys that started with 120, 130 averages and then sort of balanced out. But he just, behind the scenes, had 110, 115, 110, 115, and then a random 125 and all that. And then it got to about round 16, round 17, and he was like the sixth highest midfielder or something. Like, he just kind of came in slowly and quietly, and people wanted him in their teams. And, you know, some people got him, some people sort of missed the boat because he never quite got to that gettable price. But I really like Josh Dunkley at Brisbane. He's my lock. At Brisbane, I'm watching Gideon Coleman. Obviously had his ACL issue and then missed the remainder of the season because he couldn't quite get fit enough to come back. He did have that one game where he played about 2 and a bit quarters on managed minutes and scored a 78, which was pretty good for the amount of time he played. But if he can have a full preseason, he might be one of the better mid-priced picks down back. He's 233k. I did the maths earlier. I know we don't do maths on Footy Mailbag, so I broke the rules a little bit, but if he averages 70, he averages 150k to his price. If he averages 80, he almost doubles his price. So I think he doesn't have to be a premium for us at 233k. I think he can be someone that just makes money for us with some fairly reliable scoring.
Yep. No notes from me. He's in my current draft of the side because there's not really anyone else with that, like you said, that level of sort of pedigree behind him where we know what he's capable of.
And Chris Fagan's on record saying that he's really looking forward to him being back in the team. So that tells me that they're going to find a spot for him in that best 23. And there's a few players that are out of there now. So Archie's gone to Adelaide. Starcevich is now at West Coast. There's some openings for him to come back in.
Yeah.
And my avoid is Dane Zorko. There are better halfback flankers at Brisbane now. Jasper Fletcher, Darcy Wilmot, just mentioned Gideon Coleman. There are other guys who can distribute the ball. That doesn't mean that Dane Zorko won't have a stretch of games where he goes 95 plus for a few weeks, but I just think there is less reliance on him, and we might see his role within a game change to help bet the team on actual game day.
Boo.
Clarky, that brings us to Carlton.
That's right. With Carlton, I'm locking in Nick Newman. Nick Newman is 439k. That's ridiculously cheap for a guy who averaged, 100 in 2024? Coming off the back of a really, really long-term injury that took him out for the whole of the year. I think Carlton are going to be better this year. I think Nick Newman being back is going to be better for them this year, and I think he has been much missed from that Carlton side. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a really good year for him, and it's a really good price for him, and even if he doesn't quite reach that full primo territory, I think he more than makes his money back, or at least I'm willing to take on the risk for that price.
Yep, I really like the Nick Newman pick. He's been in and out of my side. I want to fit him in somehow, but I just don't know how to create the space in my team as it stands.
Very good. Damon, you know who I'm going to be watching?
Who are you going to be watching?
Sam Walsh.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
He only played... Look, I know he only played 14 games last year, but he has so much credibility behind him, right? Like, he has so much ability and so much proven scoring capacity. He still managed to average over 100 in the games that he did play. And I think at 543k, if you were looking for a midfielder from Carlton, he is the one that I would pick. He doesn't have any injuries. And remember when Josh Kelly was really good? And there were like multiple years after Josh Kelly were really good where we're like, no, this is the year though. Like, this is the year again. Sam Walsh is the new Josh Kelly. I actually do feel like it can be different. I think it really did feel like when he came back from his injury last season that he had kind of worked through it, the back problem, although I know it is a lingering risk. I just assume that his body is made from peanut brittle. So he's delicious, Damo.
I don't think Sam Walsh's issue is so much fitness. I feel like it is disposal. His disposal efficiency in some games would go all the way down to like 40% in some games. And when you're and when you're in and under, you don't really have to hit targets. You just want to get the ball out as quick as possible, to get the game flowing, and so you can do your work But Sam Walsh, on the outside, his ball disposal had to be a lot better than what it was. But who knows if that was due to injury, due to lack of fitness, or something like that. But yeah, I like Sam Walsh as a watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And my avoid from Carlton is Sam Walsh. No, avoid it. I can't do it. I'm really sorry, Sam. I can't. I want you to be good, but I can't do it. I'm avoiding.
So you're watching Sam Walsh, but you're avoiding him.
I only went in there to get directions of how to get away from there, Damo.
Right. Fair enough.
Damo, that's back to you, my friend.
My lock is Nick Dacos. I don't really need to say anything more than that. He's a captaincy option every single week. I reckon on this podcast last season, every time we spoke about captains, we looked at Nick Dacos for a little second at least every single time.
Now, who is this Nick Dacos? I'm familiar with Josh Dacos, but don't think I've never. I think I think it's just simple, right? It's Collingwood. Yeah. There's a lot of players that I think are really going to be good this year for Collingwood, and I would love to lock them in, but I actually just think you can't look past Nick Dacos because of exactly what he does at the club. And this is something that I talk about a lot on the mailbag, which is look at what they're doing when they're playing football compared to like just the stats, right? And Nick Dacos is just he always wants it, right? And the second that you don't have Nick Dacos is when he's going to score 160. That's how it works. That's the rules. I don't make them. I just see them. I just understand them. I play the game. He's not in my current team. I'm absolutely going to get screwed by it.
I'd started without him last year and I regretted it and never could get him in. So I'm not making that mistake.
I think I started with him last year and regretted it for different reasons. If I remember rightly, something happened at the start of last year. I've wiped it from my brain. Every year's a clean slate. Damo, who are you watching at Collingwood?
I'm watching Dan Houston.
I like watching Dan Houston.
Didn't have the greatest beginning to his Collingwood career, but I think as the season went on, his role became a bit more, I don't know if it was simplified on the field or just simplified in his head, but he seemed to grasp the way Collingwood wanted to play a bit more as the year went on. And we saw with Lachie Schultz when he went over, he took him a year to kind of get into the Collingwood system and understand his role. I think Dan Houston now being there for 12 months, his role might be a little more easier for him to fit into, and we might see him jump back up and become a premium again in our backlines. So I'm watching him. I don't think I'm going to go near him just through the early buy and all that sort of thing, and buy balance and all that sort of thing, but I'm watching Dan Houston, and maybe throughout the season he finds his way in my team as an upgrade target.
Okay, that sounds fair. Damon, who are you avoiding from Collingwood?
Look, we all know about his history, but if we talk about Jordan De Goey, the footballer, not only is he an awkward price, he also has an awkward injury history. I don't think he's played every game in a season for quite some time, and we never know if he's going to be in the midfield, in the forward line, or what, and what that is going to be. He gets subbed out randomly. Collingwood, well, obviously, we don't need to worry about the sub anymore, but he was getting subbed out randomly, so we might see his game time come down at random points. Who exactly knows what's going to happen with Jordan De Goey? I just think with the awkward injury history, awkward price, you just got to avoid him, despite how good he is at full flight.
Yep, very good. Hopefully he's not getting on any flights anytime soon. Hey, that brings it back over to me, because you know who's next alphabetically? It's the Essendons.
It is the Essendons.
It is the Essendons. That's what they like to be called, I asked.
Okay.
Who am I locking in from the Essendons? It's Zachary Merritt. This is the thing, right? I love doing these episodes because I'm like, maybe I should try and find something that's like a bit out there. Maybe I should try and find something. And then, no, the good advice is if you're going to lock in anyone from Essendon, you want an Essendon player. Zach Merritt. He's Mr. Consistent. I know that he has had some awkward times with the Essendon Football Club. He's now fired his manager. Very funny. What more is there to say? He's safe. He's got a good ceiling. Probably going to have a better midfield around him. He's got Caldwell and hopefully a fit Parrish this year, who is somebody who I would say could have really easily fell onto my watch list. I just think he'll put his head down and get on with the job this year. Like he doesn't want no trouble this year. He's just going to do the work, put all this stuff behind him.
Yeah. If we had split this the other way and I had to think of an Essendon lock, I was just thinking about it as you were speaking. I think Zach Merritt was the easy answer because there's no one else that really stands out. You could be a bit cheeky and say Dyson Sharp, but you can't really lock him in because he's not a known entity yet. So I think Zach Merritt makes sense. It's just a matter of the off-season obviously wasn't kind to him or the Essendon Football Club in just on that highway that they've got there. But yeah, who knows? I mean, lock Zach Merritt because he's a known entity, I think.
That's it. Well, look, you mentioned him, but I'm actually watching Dyson Sharp because I just want to see if he's named. I would love to lock him in, but I just need to see the green tick for round one.
Yep.
He looks ready to go. By all accounts, he's probably going to be a leader at the football club in the future. Great kid, got his head screwed on right. 149k, really perfectly priced for a rookie as well. I will say, they're not necessarily I'm watching a lot of people at Essendon, right? And this is what we're talking about when there's so few people to lock because Essendon at the moment, super coach-wise, have a lot of players who are really awkwardly priced. I'm talking about the guys I really like from Essendon who I think have ability, like Archie Roberts, who's mid-400s, Zach Reed, mid-400s. Sam Durham is, I think, once again, somewhere in the 400s, maybe low 5s. Like, these are probably like 3 of the other guys who I'm like, right, something's going to happen this year. I don't know exactly what it is, but these guys could go either way. They could go up or down, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. They've also added Jacob Farrow to the defensive unit, which could potentially affect both Reed and Roberts, who are listed as defenders. It'll be really interesting to see how it all shakes out, and that's before you even consider guys like Caldwell or Parrish, right?
Yeah.
Essendon will be better this year. It's just a matter of game plan. But who I am not thinking about, who I'm avoiding entirely, Jordan Ridley. I think the time is done. The dream is over. Used to be a consistent and really promising defensive selection for us most of the time, but
yeah,
just injured all the time, and his role has been moved on. His role has been passed on and spread among all of the other defenders, and plus the names that I've just mentioned before have been discovered as better quantities, or at least more promising long-term prospects.
Yeah. I think Jordan Ridley will be more relied on for leadership down back than his actual play style. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think you mentioned Archie Roberts, you mentioned Jacob Farrow. You mentioned Zach Reed. I think those guys will be given the platform more than Jordan Ridley will be.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's not even including Redmond. That's not even including Sada Hawley.
Exactly.
Like there's so many good guys down there, and I think it's going to be really exciting for Essendon supporters this year.
Yeah.
But you know who else should be excited, Damo? You, as we head over back west
to Fremantle.
You got the Fremantle Dockers.
So I am locking in Caleb Sarong.
Whoa.
His output in the second half of last season improved once he had some bigger bodies around him. So once they put Luke Jackson through the midfield, once Hayden Young was going through there, his output in the second half of the season improved so much. So I think he starts the season slightly underpriced compared to his second half season output from last year. And I just think at 571k to get him for under 600k there's a bit of upside there. So I'm locking in Caleb Sarong. I just think he's consistent no matter what.
I just think he's neat.
I just think he's neat. I like Caleb Sarong. I actually think he's the next captain.
You think he's the next Andrew Brayshaw, if we're talking about Supercoach? The new Andrew Brayshaw.
I think he's the next captain.
You know what's very funny is that you obviously synonymous with Brayshaw breakout. It feels like that fever dream that Woody has when he's got his arm broken in Toy Story 2 and Andy like picks him up and it's like you with Andy Brayshaw going, oh, I don't want to play with you anymore, as you like drop him and you just pick up Caleb Sarong.
I would still like to point out that I called the Brayshaw breakout and then once it happened, people did not want to credit me with it until the year was done.
We credited it with you. Your circle of friends.
And people think I'm crazy for bringing it up ever since.
Well, it's the one legacy that you will have on Supercoach. It's our biggest legacy, Damo, and I'm taking a share of that now, as it's synonymous with the mailbag brand.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm watching Luke Jackson.
Okay.
I think the new ruck rules help him, but I also think because of his jack of all trades style of play, where he can
Jackson of all trades.
You get it? Yeah.
I got it, yeah.
So because he can go through the midfield as a big body, he can go in the ruck, he can play as a key target up forward, but he can also play at ground level wherever he goes. I wonder if his jack of all trades play style could cap his scoring as well. Kind of not as bad as it caps Mark Blitzarves, but in that sort of sense where they can put him anywhere and he can play well, and it's just it's just not Supercoach relevant. So I do have that little worry for him. So I need to watch him as a midfielder, as a ruckman with the new rules before I lock him in. He's in my team at present, but I'm still got that little question mark around him.
Yeah, okay, I think that's really fair. It's also the Sean Darcy factor, right? Where we're sort of talking before, sometimes when there's someone who can fill a role, it's easier to move the guy who's versatile.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is upsetting for us as super coaches.
Yeah. I'm avoiding Luke Ryan.
That's fair.
He's no longer required to rebound. Just Jordan Clark is there. They brought in Jug McVee. Cooper Simpson's ready to explode. Luke Ryan is no longer required to move the ball out of the defensive 50. And the new kick-in rules, you only have 8 seconds to kick the ball out now. So he'll either stay closer to goal to get all the kick-outs, or he'll lose a portion of his share. So I think that'll bring his price down, or will change the way he plays, and will cap his scoring.
Fair enough.
Moving on to Geelong, Clarky, you have the Cats.
Yeah, and I've locked in Max Holmes, 600k. Yeah, Max Holmes is 600k this year.
Almost on the dot.
You're telling, yeah, it's pretty much on the dot. Like, you're telling me that I can have Max Holmes for 600k after the year that he had last year. I don't. Do I have to sell this?
I don't think you have to sell
do
this.
I have to sell it?
Max Holmes.
Max Holmes. I'm watching Ollie Dempsey. I
like that. I like that.
I know. I feel that way when I watch Ollie Dempsey as well.
What turned me off Ollie Dempsey is he's mid only.
He is mid only, but he does spend a lot of time on the wing, and he has goal upside. I wouldn't be surprised if he got DPP back against.
If he gets forward eligibility at some point through the season, I think he will find his way into a lot of teams. If, as you say, he keeps on producing the way he has been.
Well, that's it. I think if you look at a lot of his big scores, they're high disposal and multiple goals. Like he's a threat. It's undeniable. Like I wanted to put guys like Lawson Humphreys and all that. Like there's a lot of really good footballers at Geelong. Shocking, I know. But Ollie Dempsey is kind of one that excites me, and I want the guy that I watch to be exciting. Like these are the guys that I'm looking for that are going to make me feel good about having them in my team. Like we know who the good players at Geelong are. I want to see what's new, and I think that if he gets a full blown like wing role, then the sky's the limit, really.
Yep.
Okay, guess what I'm avoiding?
I could probably guess, but you tell me.
You could probably guess because I've also shared with you the document that I wrote these all in. Hey, Tom Stewart, don't do it. That rhymes. I'm going to put that on his t-shirt. I'm going to have signs made. Tom Stewart, don't do it. He's good at football. He's beyond elite. But he's also 500k, injury prone, and I don't want to borrow him for that amount.
And you can get him cheaper later after he gets injured in round 2 or 3, like he does every season, and then comes back in round 5 or 6.
He has such a good ceiling, and it gets us like we kind of like we have this moment where we go, oh my god, that's right, Tom Stewart. Oh fuck, I know. Oh, Tom Stewart, I've completely forgot. But he's 32 years old.
So pull the curtain back a little bit. You shared the document with me before we started recording of all your picks. I read it, but I still thought you were going to say Patrick Dangerfield.
Nah, you know what? I have respect for a man who can eat a suva on the sideline.
Excellent.
Too much respect.
He should have earned Supercoach points just for that, in fact.
Yeah, and I also think that we know that starting Dangerfield is probably not going to be good. I think Tom Stewart is more attractive, and the point of this avoid is I think he's a bit like a fly trap, right? Like he's getting you all in with like these little stats, like, oh, look at all these 100-point games I've got. Oh, look at all this ability that I've got. Don't do it. The well is going to dry up sometime. For 500k, you can get guys who have much more promise and a little bit more solid roles. I think I'd rather, there's probably guys that you could go lower and just find the upside. Somebody who I would say who is not on my list, but oh no, he is on my list. I'll get to him. Damo, let's move on.
All right.
The Gold Coast next?
Gold Coast. Lock in Matt Rowell.
Sure, done.
His early season fixture, he starts seasons like a freight train anyway, but his early season fixture is Geelong, who don't tag or don't have put on a tight tag, the Eagles, Richmond, bye in round 3, then Melbourne, then Sydney, then Essendon. That is a good run to start the season, and considering he starts with his hair on fire, I just think at 640k is
is that like a weird redhead chap?
Not intentionally, but I thought about it after I said it.
Even the listeners could hear the look that you gave me when you delivered that. Excellent. I love it. I love this
but yeah, the way he starts seasons, start Matt Rowell, especially with his early season fixture. I'm watching Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He is 214k in the forward line. He is supreme value if he gets back to his best and slots into that best 23.
Do you think he will?
Hey, never say never.
Like, I know that you're watching him, obviously, to see if he will, but like, what's your take?
My gut feel is they'll see how he fits in their VFL system first, but I think it won't be long before he's in the team if he has a good start.
Yeah, very good. Who are you avoiding?
I'm avoiding Jared Witts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Ned Moyle's VFL form might get a little too hard to ignore, and you might see a changing of the guard in the ruck for Gold Coast.
Yeah, I think Witsy's been he's kind of got a bit of the Omax about him, where I'm like, he's very good, but he seems very old. I think he's probably younger than me, which is
I am looking up how old he is. 33.
Okay, he's the same age as me, so that's good. Yeah, he and I are on the same level, and I feel very old, and I'm not even the same size as him, so he must feel way more tired than I do because he's bigger.
I think he either shares the ruck, a bit more of a split in the ruck, or just someone overtakes him.
Yeah. It's been a threat for a while because they've also got Ethan Reed has been slowly building nicely.
Ethan Reed as well. Yep.
He's got some. He's got a little bit of ruck pedigree in him as well. So it's not like they're lacking. I think they just need game time into these guys. However, I think to play devil's avocado would be that if Gold Coast is serious about making a push with the team that they've got, like taking on the momentum from last year, they might find a way to conservatively sort of push Witz through the whole season, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe giving him more rest, but I suppose that's not really super relevant. That's more football relevant.
I mean, that's the other thing we saw throughout the season, that they weren't afraid to rest him for long trips. Yeah. Like if they had to come west to play West Coast, they weren't going to bring their best ruckman.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're up to the Giants.
We are up to the Giants. Hey, I've locked in Finn Callahan.
So Finn you should
Callahan.
have.
Yeah. This is like I think I've just done mostly mids at this point, which I feel bad about. Oh, no, I did one defender. Mids are easy to lock in, guys. Mids are really easy to lock in. But no, I just think he showed us what he has as a ceiling. This year they've added Clayton Oliver, who currently has a minor injury, but will probably play in that midfield. He's definitely best 22 material. Like, I would be surprised if he wasn't. And then alongside Tom Green, who plays a very similar style. I think that midfield mix is just exciting because he can't cover all three. And I'm hoping that he gets the space to be his best self. Like, he announced himself. I've got here my note that I'm actually semi-proud of, is he's announced himself like an eligible high society super coach prospect. I don't know what that means.
Well,
that
opening round game, everyone sort of jumped on him and got really, excited to have him. And then that first 5 to 6 weeks, he got a bit quiet and then got injured. And then when he came back, he just went bang, and he could play on the wing, through the midfield, across half back, across half forward. It did not matter. He was having a similar impact to what Naz was having for St Kilda, but I think because the Giants have such a stacked team, it wasn't as pronounced as what Nazai was doing at St Kilda.
Yeah, for sure. I'm watching Brent Daniels. I think just at his price, 300k without an injury, he's somebody who could easily jump to a 400k price point as a stepping stone option. If he's fit, I think that's really exciting as a forward option. Simple, clean, love it. I'm avoiding Clayton Oliver though. 500k is a little bit expensive. He got a raw deal from the Ds, right? Like, I don't think the problem was necessarily that he can't perform. I think the Ds were just really in search of hitting the big reset button. But yeah, he's just got a bit of an injury at the moment that he'll be back to training in like 2 weeks, I think they said. Some of that, like a really mild strain. But it's just enough for me to say, not right now, I'll keep an eye on you.
I like it.
Thanks, Damo.
Up to Hawthorn.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams.
Yeah, there is. We're about halfway through-ish. So I had Will Day as my lock.
Sick.
But he went down with a shoulder injury today and will miss the start of the season. So I have had to make a quick change. So I've gone with Dylan Moore.
I really like that.
He's always in the conversation for the top 8 to 10 forwards every season. And I just think Dylan Moore is neat. I don't have other notes for Dylan Moore because I had to make the late change.
He is somebody who, once again, we talk about people who lead by example on this show quite a bit. I think he's just kind of one of those players. Like, he's capable of doing a bit of everything. They'll probably rely on him a little bit more with that. So I don't know. Hopefully Will Day's injury isn't too bad, but I like Dylan Moore. And it's good to have a non-mid option.
I'm watching Lloyd Meek. I don't know how he's going to go with the ruck rules. He doesn't jump. He's not that mobile. I just wonder how the new ruck rules affect the way he plays and whether it may lead to a Ned Reeves coming in and sharing the role with him now with that extra bench spot. I just wonder if we'll see a shared ruckload there, and so I'm only watching Lloyd Meek at the moment. With the new ruck rules, it's a bit scary to start with him just by the way that he plays.
Very good. Who are you avoiding?
I'm avoiding James Sicily.
Okay.
He's no longer the backline general. He's no longer the be all and end all defender for Hawthorn. I think he's still a fine player. It's just no longer Supercoach relevant.
Yeah, that's fair.
Up to your D's now.
Gross.
You get to you get to share a little slice of home with the listeners.
Yeah, great. It's messy, and I should have cleaned up before everyone came over. It stinks like failure. Hey, Max Gawn is locked in for Melbourne. I don't give a fuck. I'm showing my bias. Shut up. Let me have this. He scores from so many different things around the ground. I don't think he'll be affected by the ruck rules. He's on the expensive side, but as we've argued it in multiple years before, right? Like, if you start at the top and it doesn't pan out, you can go down to anyone who's popping off. Don't deny yourself that opportunity. You can even go down to Tristan Sherry if you don't have Tristan Sherry. Like, you can go down to literally anyone. Let me have this. I've written it twice. That's how serious I am about just letting me have my fun. Letting me dream that my captain is still the beacon of hope that I need. You know who I'm watching, though? In a more fun, more serious manner.
Who are you watching?
Christian Salem.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen May's old, and I don't like him. Jake Bowie, he's kind of a prick, isn't he? Like, we always knew he was a prick, but he had like this run of like a few years right before he put Melksham through the table where I was like, no, he's just a bit of a hothead. Like, he might be okay. Nah, dickhead.
It says a lot about the guy when Melbourne are like, hey, he's available to be traded. And then teams go, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah, not interested. Anyway, Christian Salem will probably benefit from Jake Bowie being long-term injured. Christian Salem was already taking a lot of kick-ins during the season. Probably had a roughly similar share to Jake Bowie and Stephen May, like they kind of were splitting it three ways. I wouldn't be surprised if Salem took a more majority of kick-ins, given the new rules as well. He's a better kick than Stephen May, and he's a lot more agile. So if he just takes that step out of the box, right, and starts moving the ball, I can see a world where 494k he could probably push into the 500s quite easily, or at least be serviceable in kind of that D5, 6 range. Yeah, that's it. That's my presentation. If you want an avoid, I would avoid Melbourne players.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I couldn't, too many to mention. That's how I don't know what's happening there. I don't think Melbourne know what's happening there. I'm just praying that we're not last.
Speaking of a team that might be last.
Sick.
North Melbourne.
Nah, really?
No, I actually think North Melbourne might have a pretty good season. I think they could win about 8 games.
Love that. Who's your lock?
Lock is Tristan Sherry.
Yeah,
and my note here is just very good ruckman.
Yeah, big tall boy.
Yeah.
Wears helmet.
Yeah.
Good.
Good ruckman.
No notes.
My watch is Colby McKercher. I prefer him off halfback, but he's been training with the midfield. And people always talk about more midfield time being good, but it doesn't always suit the player for Supercoach purposes. So midfield might be good for Kangaroos, but maybe not for Supercoach.
I love that. Good comprehensive notes.
Midfield
could be doing good for Kangaroo. Love it.
But I'm avoiding Caleb Daniel. I'm not falling into that trap again.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I probably would avoid any of the players at like the top echelon, just because I don't. If it's not Sheasel and it's not Sherry, I kind of don't want to know about it from the Kangaroo.
Hey, we almost went through an entire podcast again without mentioning Harry Sheasel.
Nah, that's fine. People know he exists. We know he's in my fucking team. You don't need me to tell you about him every week. Do you want me to list every guy you should pick? Come on, use your brains, listeners.
Nah,
I love you, listeners.
Port Adelaide.
January's the silly season of the Supercoach world, I reckon. There's a lot of guys doing really good straight man content there, but this is the only place you get comedy gold. Hey, you know who you should lock in from Port?
Who?
Connor Rosie.
Ooh, okay.
Do you know he's 568k?
Yes.
He's a DPP. He was playing off halfback, has a very good ceiling for 560k. He does break the 550k rule, but I think for 10k, call it. Look, I'm going to call it 10, rounding down, quite a lot, rounding down, almost 20k. I think it's almost willing to break the rule, right? Like that's just value for me. 568 is very cheap for what he's capable of producing. Like his scoring history is just so many tons, Damo, and he was really thriving at halfback last year.
I like that. I'm surprised you didn't go with his running mate in Zach Butters, but I like the Connor Rosie lockage.
I don't. I'm not as hot on Zach Butters as everyone else.
Who are you watching?
Who am I watching? I'm watching Jordan Sweet.
Okay.
Every year there's a guy that pops up that I don't know what the way is, but he's kind of like everybody kind of tries to find that one ruckman who's like Mr. El Cheapo.
Yep.
Senor Cheapo. Jordan Sweet feels like that guy to me. He has shown some flashes of brilliance. He scored that. He had that 200 game against Hawthorn last year. I think he's building something. I think he's kind of. I reckon they need to give him the keys to the ruck department. 471. I think if I had to go for like a really cheap ruckman, if I was going to build like one of those weird like primo mid-pricer ruck 1-2s, I think I would probably go for Jordan Sweet, just because I think that there's the most upside. Like he's actually been doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's the big difference between him and some of the other mid-price options that we've had in the past.
I mean, Ken Hinkley was messing around with the rucks a bit at one point last season, but when he got back in that back part of the season, including that 200 that he scored against Hawthorn, he was actually a very solid scorer. I don't mind that. He's 470k, so under 500k. So I think I think you're right. Like, if people are looking for that value ruck, he might be the guy to go with.
Absolutely. But you know who isn't the guy to go with?
Who are you avoiding?
Jason Horne-Francis.
I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah, the horny one makes me not so much. This year, I was burned by his injuries. I think he's got a good ceiling, but I'm not picking him as a mid only.
Yeah.
Mid
only sometimes rightly or wrongly scares people away. But I think Jason Horne-Francis not having forward eligibility anymore, it scares people away for all the right reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Clarky, Richmond was hard. I can't lock. I don't know who to lock anyone. I don't know who to lock in at Richmond. So I've cheated. Josh Gibkiss is my lock. He's rookie priced. He's fit again.
Is that cheating?
He's finally primed to get going after injury interruptions. 139k. Honestly, there is no reason not to pick him if you are looking for a rookie in your backline.
I don't think that's cheating. Is that cheating?
I feel like it's cheating. We've mostly gone for premium as our locks.
Yeah, it's only because we don't know anything about the rookies, but Gibkiss would have played barring the injury last year, so I don't see any reason why he wouldn't resume the intentions that they had for him, because it was really devastating, that injury.
Yeah.
Who are you watching?
I'm watching Sam Banks.
Me too.
I think there's a breakout pending. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming.
No, his name's Bank. Cumming plays for Adelaide.
There's also a Cumming that plays for Richmond as well. They just drafted him. Yes. But anyway, with an increased role off halfback, it all depends on what they do with Jaden Short. But if there's an increased role off halfback, then we could see that breakout in 2026. His back end to the season last year was very promising.
Yeah, I think it's the big watch for that is, sometimes you get shortchanged, but otherwise you might make banks. Is that good? Do you like that?
I don't know. I'm still deciding.
Listeners, let me know if you like that.
I'm avoiding Toby Nankervis. I feel like it's an easy one to go for, but the new ruck rules scare me with Toby Nankervis. He's the kind of guy that doesn't really play in the ruck. He kind of just walks through his opponent. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I'll be considering Nank either.
St Kilda.
Hey, shocking. I'm going to lock in Saya Wanganimalera. I don't need to sell this one. He's very expensive. I will say, I'd say lock, but only because he's literally the best selection from St Kilda. He's very expensive for a defender, though.
Yeah.
Which, as we've already covered, kind of has me, I don't know.
It's just like it's difficult to lock in a 700k midfielder, it's hard to lock in a 600k defender.
Yeah. Yeah, historically, they've shown that there's a little bit of a dip before the rise back up. I am watching Sam Flanders. I hope nothing but good things for this man, but he also has the potential to be forever locked into a half-forward mid role that will not net any profit for him whatsoever. And 396k is really a gamble for that.
Yeah.
It's tough.
We spoke about it at the beginning of the podcast. There's good reasons to lock him in, but there's also good reasons to be a bit cautious as well.
Yeah, I'm also avoiding Filippo. I want to see it before I believe it. I kind of rushed into picking him last year, and I think we'd need to not get hyped about guys until we know for sure. He does represent even more value this year, but yeah, let's see the role first.
Do you know what Filippo reminds me of? Every year, Jack Billings was going to be breaking out. Every year, Jack Billings was going to be that breakout player. And it never, ever happened. It didn't matter how cheap he got, what price he was, what position he was. Everyone seemed to start him because they were convinced that that was the year he was going to break out. What if Matthias Philippou is just the new Jack Billings?
Ooh, yeah, okay. We'll have to ask Hipster if he has a sour beverage named after him, because I think that'll be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. I mean, we already called him the laser printer.
Yeah, that's it. He is the laser printer. That's right. Yeah. Avoid the laser printer. Go to your office. Go to your nearest office works and use a regular printer. Damo, who's next? Which team's next?
Sydney is next, and I'm locking in Errol Goulden.
Whoa. Shock. Horror. I think this is a really good selection.
He made a huge difference late last season when he came back from injury. Sydney were able to move the ball a whole lot better than they were. And I think there's extra points on offer with the guy that they have up in the forward line now, who is my watch, Charlie Curnow. If he is as fit as they say, he could be one of those key forwards that sneakily finishes up the top.
Done.
And I'm avoiding Matty Roberts because he doesn't hold the same value as last season, and Dean Cox still doesn't know what his best position is.
And you really do want Cox in your best position to know your best positions.
Did you see the pictures of him at the cricket? He was munted.
I haven't heard that word for a very long time, and that's very funny. Who you avoid? Yeah, you're avoiding
Matty Roberts.
Matty Roberts, and then we move on to the next team.
Next team is West Coast.
Yes, okay. I've locked in Tom McCarthy because he's the only one that I really like. He's 504k, very, very gambly kind of price. However, I think we saw last year exactly what he's capable of, and they're giving him so much leeway to continue to be a great footballer that I don't see his role improving or expanding this year. Still falls under the 550k rule. However, he's only been playing half a season of football, so I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that one, Damo, but he's someone who I think is easy to pick at the starting team and then lose your nerve.
Yeah.
Before.
I mean, like I said, it's hard to pay 500k for a guy who's only been in the system for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be watching Harley Reid. I think similar vein of...
He's a very watchable player, Harley Reid.
He's very watchable, especially with his massive ego style energy. It's very much like a wrestling heel at this point. Yep. I just think he is going to take another step at some point, and I just want to be ready to pounce Supercoach-wise.
Yeah,
where I'm at with that. And I will be avoiding, my note here just says, I don't know, man, all of the West Coast players scare me, which is not untrue. I think.
Yeah, I'll do your homework for you. I think people should avoid Elliot Yeo. Just because of his awkward injury history, and who knows where the hell that guy plays.
Wait, I thought he was. Is he not retired?
He's still on the list.
What do you mean he's still on the list?
He's hoping to step into the midfield and protect the younger guys. Actual quote.
Oh shit! I thought he retired. I just wasn't even.
Which is why you should avoid that guy, because
I was just genuinely
because he should be retired.
I was just genuinely, the last time he got injured, I was just straight up like, oh man, like this is it for him. Like he didn't play a game last year.
That's almost exactly why you should avoid him.
Yeah,
because he should have retired.
Yeah. I also, like, I'm not super excited by, like, Tim Kelly's, and I'm not super excited by Liam Baker's. I know these guys have, like, real...
Hold up. You're not excited by Tim Kelly? Get out of here.
I think Tim Kelly had some really...
I'm joking.
He had some really interesting moments where I was like, oh, okay, like, super coach. Scoring-wise, there's not... As my chair squeaks itself into oblivion, Jesus Christ, there's just not a lot of love I've got for that kind of volatility. Damo, Western Bulldogs, and then we can go.
Western Bulldogs. I've said Marcus Bontempelli as the lock, only because, yes, it's a lot to pay, over 700k, but you are getting a captain you can rely on every single week. And it is a lot to pay, but you can't put a price on a captaincy score, especially late in the season when you need them to go big and consistently go big. So Marcus Bontempelli is my lock. Watching Tim English, an injury-free preseason would be a good start, but he always seems to fall down at the final hurdle with a calf injury or a concussion or something that just sort of slows him down at the beginning of the season. And 2 seasons in a row now, he's only been able to string together top-line scores for half a season, and I don't know if that's due to the injury interrupted start or if he just doesn't really warm into the season until after their mid-season bye. It's an awkward prospect, I think.
I think you should believe in Timmy Tallman.
And I'm avoiding Adam Treloar.
Whoa.
His injury history and awkward price makes him hard to replace if he goes down early.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I think I'm flirting once again with the idea of Bailey Dale, but I think I want to add my own avoid on this. Like, I don't think we should do Bailey Dale this year, guys. I was going to say we should cancel Bailey Dale, but I think that's a step too far. I think we just shouldn't pick him in Supercoach.
Our listeners won't have seen the face I made on camera, but I just stubbed my toe on the corner of my desk. Anyway, that is all 18 teams gone through. No sympathy from Clarky there.
You know, what are you going to do? You're right? Hey,
no, I'm all right. I think I'm okay.
Are we going to have to operate?
No, I think I'm all right. There's no turf toe, no Aaron Sanderlands down there.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Make sure you check out thefootymailbag.net. We're going to be doing written content throughout the preseason and season. The Cash Cow Index went up on January 1st, and it is continually being updated, and will eventually have starter ratings and predicted averages once we get closer to the season starting. So keep clicking back and looking for those. But that's it for this episode of the Footy Mailbag. If you haven't given us a rating on your listening platform of choice, please do so. It helps new listeners find us. Hey, Clarky, I know my platform of choice is usually Spotify, but I had to do some checking to make sure we were going across all the platforms. Went to Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called now. Mm-hmm. We have a really, really high rating on Apple Podcasts. So thank you to everyone who has given us a high rating there. We really do appreciate it. You can find us at the Footy Mailbag on pretty much every social media there is. I am at DamoSC on Twitter, add an underscore to that for Instagram. Clarky, where can people find you?
You can find me at QuantumJC on Twitter, although I'm not as active on that these days. I should probably come back to Twitter. It's real messy. It's real messy out there. Bad times, bad vibes. So, hey, just try to follow us, engage with us. I think Facebook is actually probably a good way to engage with us these days, because then we don't have to wade through all the weird shit that Twitter's doing. Like, yeah. Hey.
I mean, you can go to Twitter and get caught up in a political shitstorm, or go to Facebook and accidentally get talking to your weird auntie. Which one would you prefer?
Yeah, it's fucking 2026, and they had to introduce a law to stop AI from undressing women and children on Twitter. That place is a fucking hole. But hey, I'm still there at Quantum JC. But I love you all. Thank you so much. You can also follow us at The Falcon, which is at Falcon Footy Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be making a comeback at some point this year. Just trying to organize. Everybody's on holiday still.
Thanks for listening. We'll talk next time when hopefully Supercoach is officially open for 2026.
Love you, listeners. We'll see you soon.
Bye.